On Tuesday of this week, I got invited to speak at the University of Oxford. And I thought I'd carry you guys along, like show you how I prepare and just talk to you guys about how I'm feeling about it. My biggest worry right now is that I'll ramble. I don't see myself as particularly articulate. I don't think I'm well spoken.
Rakiba?
Yeah, Rakiba.
Rakiba.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Honestly, you're more than welcome.
Okay. And very important, audacity. Hi guys, today is a Saturday. Happy weekend. On Tuesday of this week, I got invited to speak at the University of Oxford. Yeah, one of the organizers of the event, Nelly, she found me through LinkedIn and thought that I would have an interesting perspective on the topic. The topic is education innovation, so she thought I'd have an interesting perspective on the topic based on my work as an economist in education policy, as well as my edtech platform, EduFurther, which I've been building for the past a year and some months. I'll be honest, my first instinct was to say no, because I've never studied at Oxford, but it has been a dream school of mine for the longest time. I mean, who doesn't want to go to Oxford? But I've actually never studied there. So the whole idea of my first visit to Oxford being speaking to people that are literally living my dream just felt impossible and a little bit ridiculous. Another funny thing is that, like I said earlier, she actually reached me through LinkedIn, and I kind of have a very funny relationship with LinkedIn. I see my visibility on LinkedIn as both a blessing and a curse. A blessing and a curse. I will not be cursed, inshallah. My mother must not say this. But what I mean is that anytime people reach out to me for speaking engagement or any other opportunity, the first thing that comes to my head is I think my 90,000 follower count is deceiving people. Like, my follower count makes people have an impression of me that is more knowledgeable, more confident, more accomplished than I actually am. So when I get this kind of speaking engagement where I have to show up in real life, I'm just like, oh, you're about to get exposed as the fraud that you actually are. But despite all of that chaos going in my head, I still said yes. And it's not like I suddenly feel confident or I feel like I can do it. I think I did it for exactly that, the fact that I am not confident enough in myself that I can do it. So I want to do it for the growth, basically, because over the years I've realized that situations that makes me question myself or my abilities, that make me feel out of place, or that I'm not good enough, or I'm not ready, or that I'm gonna disgrace myself and my ancestors, it's usually situations that are unfamiliar, something that I've never done before, so I do not have a blueprint. But when I push myself to do it regardless, I always come out of the other side better. There are situations that have actually made me grow the most. What do psychologists call it? Like exposure therapy, where I do that thing that scares me and then it just makes it less scary, if that makes sense. So I'm definitely doing this for the growth. Also, there is a snippet from my journal and I want to read to you guys. Okay, this is my journal. Let me put this down for a minute. So I had a whole counseling session with Claudia about this, especially about my feelings on how people perceive me and how I perceive myself. And this is like the main thing from it. It says, maybe part of growth is accepting that sometimes the version of you that other people see, especially given that you're building a personal brand and growing in pop, is ahead of the version of yourself that you see. And instead of running away from that, maybe you can lean into it and use it as a motivation to grow into that person, especially if it aligns with who you want to become. Based on our conversations, you love education, you want to become a subject matter expert in this field, and you want to help students succeed. As a matter of fact, you're already becoming a subject matter expert in this area. You've done a lot in the space with the little resource that you have. So take this further and go talk about education innovation at the University of Oxford. So good. Anyways, that is where my head is at right now. So we're going to Oxford on Monday, and I thought I'd carry you guys along, like show you how I prepare and just talk to you guys about how I'm feeling about it as well. For today, I'm actually not doing any heavy prep regarding the speaking engagement. I have read through the panel questions, and I'm just going to leave it to marinate in the background of my brain a little, and then tomorrow I'll properly lock in on preparation for this event. Yeah. It's currently 10 a.m. so it's time to lock in on this preparation. My biggest worry right now is that I'll ramble because I tend to talk too fast and then I lose my train of thought and then I ramble and then the cycle just continues. I don't see myself as particularly articulate. I don't think I'm well spoken. So my solution has just always been to prepare. Basically just outwork the fear and the insecurity. And I genuinely feel like the best presenters and the best orators out there, I mean, I feel like some people have gifts of words, they know how to just speak, but I think to give their best presentations, it just comes down to preparation. And I think once you have all your points, the chances of you losing your train of thought is just lower compared to not doing any preparation at all. Anything I can do outside my laptop or my gadgets, I try to. So I have all these giant notebooks for different parts of my life, and this one particularly is what I use for my brain dump for speaking engagements and content ideas. And what I've done, I don't know if you can see it, what I've done so far is that I have written out each of the panel questions that was shared with me, and then under each I have all these bullet points of experiences, reflections from my personal life that I think would best address that particular question, because I hate to sound theoretical at speaking engagements. I don't think people leave their homes to hear something they can Google or ask ChatGPT. I think people come because they want a unique perspective, and I think that unique perspective comes from your own personal or unique experiences. So I try not to, my goal is not to sound smart, I just want to sound honest. I want to sound personal. I want you to resonate with me, basically. So I've deliberately attached different story, lessons, whatever from my own experience that best answers that question. And yeah, I actually call this process story mapping, which is a whole different topic on its own. But yeah, that's the process so far. I have done that for all of the questions. Yeah, I've done that for all of the questions. Now I just need to flesh it out. Well. Few hours later, we have a time script and a bullet point summary of the notes that I'll take with me tomorrow. I always feel a little dumb that I have to rely on my notes for speaking engagements. I feel the need for me to just say everything from the top of my head. But whatever, we'll have to rely on notes for this one. I wonder if any of the other panelists will also come with the notes. I think that will be very reassuring for me. Let's go to the University of Oxford.
Yeah,
Rokiba.
Rokiba.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Honestly, you're more than welcome.
Okay.
I will start with a little bit of a story. So I grew up in a family of like business owners. But my parents only had like basic education, and I always feel like my dad carried this like very heavy what if whenever I asked me to like fill a telephone or sit in conversations with companies so I can interpret what they're saying in English to our language. And I think he kind of took it personal and made it like his life mission to make sure that his children get the best education possible. And I think that was where I kind of inherited that dream as well of education can actually open doors for you. You can break barriers to entries. And insufferably, I kind of like project that to everybody that I meet. So right from secondary school, I'm the kind that will organize tutorials. So my colleagues, whether or not they like it, I'll organize it so that everyone can come around. And then also when I was studying during my undergrad, I would organize tutorials. I'm the guy that would organize my notes so that everyone can photocopy it, something like that. It was just something I was passionate about. And then upon graduation, I had the decision to either go into teaching, to just teach, but I also knew that I wanted to influence the policies that actually influence education. So that was why I got into the civil service to work as an economist, where I currently like influence policies around higher education funding, higher education reform. But at the same time, there's only so much the policy can do. We need people in the grassroots, people that actually feel what students are going through in schools. And that was why we started EduFurther, because I feel like sometimes you go to school and you still don't understand the power and the knowledge that you've acquired and how you can use it to open doors for yourself. So that was how we started EduFurther, to bring people that have been through the process, international students, people that are working in global organizations to come and become mentors on the platform and show other people how they can leverage the knowledge that they've acquired to open doors for themselves and to make change in their society. And I also create content a little bit because there are just some things I wish that I was told while I was a student. I feel like there are some things I would have done better, and I just want to be that voice for other people. Yeah, in the basically. So that's what I do.
It's very inspiring. Thank you.
And then for reasons I can't really explain, moved sideways into philanthropy, and then I spent 20 years helping the university raise money from wealthy people and organisations, and of course that has provided very much needed cash for the university. £400 million, not the entire university raised maybe a couple of years ago, so it's a very influential pillar income stream for the university.
So with that being said, I feel like everyone is pulling their weight. With the government, I will take for example the UK government. They recently launched the lifelong learning entitlement, which to me is a form of educational innovation, which means that you can now access student loan for a long period of time, not when you're 18 years old. You can actually access it until age 60. You can dip in out of it to take modular courses. And that kind of challenge is a standing assumption that you only learn once at the age of 18 and then you're done. And to me, that's innovative. And now you can actually learn at the age of 50. You can still take students loan, and you can keep learning, especially with the advent of AI that is like disrupting skills and everything. We need people to be able to say, oh, now this skill is not relevant anymore. I have the ability, I have the fund to pick from. Government will support me to learn new skills in order to be employable. And I also think there are also like private companies, even schools. I recently attended an event by Wonky. I don't know if everyone knows Wonky here, but it's called, they call it Education Espresso, and it's usually like this an hour webinar every now and then. And then a lecturer came on board and she was talking about how she is helping her year one students learn employability skills and embed AI by developing actual marketing campaigns, because she's a professor of marketing. And to me, that is also innovative, embedding AI, helping them actually do real marketing campaigns that they can put in their portfolio. Before that is probably not possible. And AI is even making it scalable for them. To me, again, that is innovative. But I think the one I found most interesting for me are youth-led initiatives, where, for example, I have a friend called Ahmed. She built Rafiki AI, which is a career companion that everybody, it's WhatsApp-based, so even children from like very poor background can access this and can start asking questions about their career, about what they are learning, about how they can make it do well for them, they can make it work for them and also work for their community. And for me, that youth-led initiative is quite key, because I feel like for the longest time we build solutions for students without building it with them, and they don't work. But with this youth-led initiative, youths that have just been through the process, they see a problem and then they create a solution for it. So I feel like those youth-led innovation is what I'm really, really excited about. And so, but generally, I think everyone is pulling their weight. We have Duolingo, which is a career company, they are making learning languages more interesting and more enjoyable for people. So I feel like at the end of the day, everyone is pulling their weight, and what is just important is that whatever we're doing is for the benefit of students, and we're carrying students along the journey. I think storytelling is a skill that I feel like has helped me personally a lot. Learning how to put my experiences together to convince someone or to motivate someone, to inspire someone. And I think one thing that we don't talk about when it comes to storytelling is that for you to tell a good story about yourself, you need to be a good collector of your own personal stories. Like I have a spreadsheet I call Story Bank, where I just dump things that I do. And anytime I just need to talk about something, I have a story I can pick from and say, oh, I think this story would work for this application, or this story would work for this conversation I'm about to have. Like this conversation happening right now is going into my Story Bank, and anything I've learned from here is going into my Story Bank. So I feel like we need to be a good collectors of our own personal stories as well. It goes a very long way. And I think generally in terms of career, I think experimentation is very key. Like learning how to just apply, get into different opportunities so that you can gather data about what you like and what you don't like, and what interests you and what doesn't interest you. There are some things I've done, like the CFA I talked about, I started it and then level 2 I'm like, I hate this. I don't want to go into finance. And that was it for me. And now I know why I do not want to have a career in finance. I tried a lot of things. I was an international student ambassador. I loved it. I'm like, one day I think I want to work in student recruitment at some point. I took tutorials. I'm like, okay, I think I want to be a teacher. This work I'm doing currently, I said, I'm giving myself 5 years to work in policies, see if I like it. If I don't like it, we'll move it. So I feel like that experimentation or that exploration mindset is very key, especially at the beginning of our career. We need that data in order to reach key conclusions about which area of education or any other sector that we want to make impact in. So, and very importantly, audacity.
That's a wonderful note on which to end the panel questions. Thank you so much. Now